Hi folks, it's Aj back once again, still on the Railway Empire, and I'm jumping back into a different scenario this time. Obviously I did some free play last time around, so I'm going to move back to the scenarios, and I've got my eye on this one, Rocky Mountain Mining, set in 1910. Let's have a quick read here. 40 years have passed since the first trains thundered through the Rocky Mountains. The steep passes are still the most demanding stretches between east and west. Recently, new riches have been discovered in the mountains, and again the railroads are needed to develop these regions and to unearth the treasures. Now it's classed as medium difficulty. It's the first time I've played it, so we'll take a look, see how difficult it is. We'll start with the Vermilion in Cheyenne, 3 competitors. Everything else will keep the same. I will go for the Trickster. So let's wait for it to load up. Let this spiel disappear if we're going to get some. Oh no, we had no welcome message today. Okay, never mind. So let's have a look at the tasks. Oh, there we go. Better late than never, I suppose.
The section still places the highest demands on man and machine. New mineral deposits have now been found in this region, but new ways need to be developed to exploit them.
Okay, so straight away, the thing that stands out as to be expected in this region is dealing with the terrain isn't going to be easy. A lot of mountains, a lot of hills, a lot of valleys, and a few rivers chucked in. Well, 1, 2, 3 rivers chucked in just for good measure. So here we are in Cheyenne, our starting city, and we'll go back to the task list and have a look. So we've got 2 years to connect 120,000 people up. We've got to transport 1,000 freight cars. Quarterly profit of 2.5 million. Oof. After that, connect 20 rural stations, and then 10 cities, each with a population of at least 20,000. 10 loads of iron per week, so we'll have to buy an iron industry. 500 loads of coal, 500 of iron. Optional, we've got an express connection between Elko and Cheyenne, and to buy out one of our competitors. So let's have a look. Elko, I'm guessing, is going to be over here somewhere. Oh, there it is, just there. So we need to get an express connection from here to Cheyenne at some point, so I'll bear that in mind when I'm laying my tracks. Although I'll leave, I could always leave it towards the end of the playthrough, when we've got more money to throw at it, and we can, just plough tunnels and bridges through everything without, much concern. So anyway, the first thing is to get 120,000 people linked up. So let's go ahead and start with Denver, and we'll hook him that side. So as per usual, they gave us a normal station to start with the 2 platforms, so we'll utilize that, and we'll get our first city connected. Now the good thing here, you've probably noticed, this city link is a beer to meat link, so this link will help both cities grow. So that's going to give us some good early growth, get us on our way. But of course we can't just depend on that to get to 120,000. We'll have to hook up to extra cities and get some cities growing with some supplies. All the usual stuff you need for city growth. So our basic train on this one is Old Maud. And if you've seen my videos before, this is all commonplace. 4 trains running, 2 starting from opposite cities. And now we can think about expanding further onwards. So we have Raton, or Raton, down here, but after that there's not really a likely candidate for an early link. I mean, there is Grand Junction there, but this winding track to deal with this mountainous terrain doesn't look appealing too early on. So instead I'll turn my attention to the north, and I think we'll head out to Rock Springs. So I'll go ahead and put another station in Cheyenne, and then into Rock Springs. Just taking a bit of care here to try and avoid some of the more obscene contour lines. There we go, that's not too bad. Pretty flat and pretty cheap. So we'll put a supply tower roughly at the halfway point. And then put some trains on this run. I'm not sure if Cheyenne has a demand for the furniture that's being produced. I'm going to guess it doesn't. But Rock Springs should have a demand for the meat that Cheyenne's pumping out. So at least in one direction we'll have some good freight. Now look, they're just loading passengers and mail, so obviously there's no demand for the furniture. So what's our next move? We can probably not going to be able to cut through very cheaply to Salt Lake City, so I think. But it is a level 3 city, so it's already got some, a fairly decent population. And obviously I am mindful that we have to connect 120,000 people up. So I think it may be worth going, pressing on. Let me just have a look how much it would cost. So straight through, 1.3 mil. Yep, I expected as much, but what if we come... say 11%. That's another 11. So that's saved a couple of 100,000 by bridging over the mountain. Now how about, is there a sneaky little passage we can take? I mean, we could. If we run up this way. I think we can just about squeeze through here. It's not perfectly flat, but it's the terrain's a bit more even. And then that gives us a 13% gradient. And then we're down, and that saved us even more money. And given the fact that our initial starting train, has tractive power of over 200%, I think it may be worth exploring that. Try one last thing. Just get rid of some of these track points. And what I want to try is heading along this shelf a little bit, and heading up through here, say to there. Like that. Coming down there, and then there. That's not too bad. The other alternative is to put an extra track, but bypass as much of that summit as we can, and come out here. I think that's a little bit more expensive, but I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's see what bond value we have at the minute. Okay, so we can pay for that. Now, there's another reason I elect to take that route, and that is that brings us out on the south side of Salt Lake City, rather than coming in from, you know, a more northern way. Now, what that's done, I did notice our competitor down here had built up to Milford. Now, it wouldn't be a great, you know, leap to imagine them heading next to Salt Lake City. If I come in at the north, it would leave them plenty of room to get some lines and a station in Salt Lake City themselves. So by coming in from the south, assuming that they don't, you know, leapfrog my track, I've effectively blocked them out of that city. So that's why I did that. Anyway, I don't think we're going to afford the return line, so what I'll do for the time being is just have one train running this route. Now the return line will be substantially cheaper because a lot of the price came from this bridge here, which was unavoidable. The only other real option was obviously building the massive tunnel through, which was what, 1.3 million. That just, you know, that wasn't feasible at this early stage. So let's have a quick look and see what sort of price we're going to be quoted for the return track. C252, that's much better. So I'll leave that blueprint in place, increase the speed, and we'll put that down ASAP. Which may take a while at this early stage. I've already got a couple of trains running at the moment. But we'll get there when we get there, won't we? Now what I do want to do is put some signals here to break this line up a bit, to allow this train to set off even if the station's blocked by one of these trains.
You have connected many residents in this region.
Well, that was done already, very good. That was nice and easy. So what we need to do now is focus on connecting more cities and dealing with our freight. So I'll get this second line that I've already got pre-planned, get that put in, and then we'll move on to the some of these other businesses, generating profit, growing a few cities, connecting up more cities, making sure they've got at least 20,000 population and so forth. Oops. So what do I need? 250, okay. Reduces tunnel construction by 10%. Not right now. Ah, he needs a sanding tower, or a supply tower, however you, whatever you want to term it. Now, while I'm waiting for this just to kick on up, I'm looking around and plotting the next move, and I think it's going to be out to Casper. Then Casper. Probably to Miles City, then to Billings, and then to Gardiner. And that would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But then we can go to 9.
You should provide the raw material warehouses
And
with supplies.
Perhaps Missoula 10. That'd be our 10 cities. And then it's just a question of making sure those cities each have a decent population. You know, well, I say decent, it's 20,000. So now we've got our signals on. Just want to wait till I get to 30 and get the supply tower for this run. We'll put him just there. And then we can copy that train there. Did he copy? Maybe I didn't. No, I didn't have enough money. Okay. So increase passenger waiting time. Come on, 33. Come on. There we go. And then we want our trains heading in the opposite direction.
Unfortunately, one of the trains didn't make it.
So Rock Springs is now getting beer and meat, which will make it grow. So that's good. Okay. Yes. Casper is my next port of call. So get some money together. We need 80,000 for the station in each city. And then, what we're going to say, about 50 for the track. And obviously we need the supply tower, the locomotives. So yeah, this early part of the scenario is a lot of waiting around, but there's not much you can do about that. This all does pay dividends towards the end. You know, when you get to the midpoint and the late game, all these cities you've linked up quickly, you know, they provide really good income. So it's definitely worth doing. Okay, we've got a source of iron here, and here. Obviously one of the goals is to produce 10 loads of iron a week, I think it was. Ooh, extra transport fees. So yes, we'll look at purchasing one of those iron industries at some point. That's our price. Oh, 91. Bit more than I anticipated, but that's fine. So we could, yeah, buy one of these. That'll help us hit this this task. Okay, Denver is shrinking. I'm guessing it needs wheat, which has a source here. So I may want to link that up pretty quickly. because I don't want any of these cities to fall below 20,000 in terms of population. So I'm gonna need more money.
Look for your train.
In the meantime, let's get a train running here so it can start making us a little bit more money. More passengers, that's equals more money, so be foolish not to take that in the early stages. The breakdowns are starting to kick in, which is sadly unavoidable. Can't afford to be putting the maintenance buildings in at this point, they're just too expensive, so we have to live with the breakdowns. So what I'm going to do first of all is sneakily hook this up. Like so. 42,000 I need for that. Okay. Because that'll give us this connection bonus of 94 grand, which we can use to bring some wheat into Denver. So we want another station in Denver. One next to the wheat.
Unfortunately, one of your trains didn't make it.
Now this will probably be quite expensive because it's quite a distance. And it's also got to hop over this river. There we go, 108, not too bad actually. So once again, it's just a matter of waiting for the money to come in. Casper is growing, which is good. Obviously Cheyenne's quite big. Denver is now above 20, Work Springs is well above 20, Salt Lake City same. Casper will grow even faster once we get to Miles City because it'll supply beer. Obviously Miles City will be growing from the meat that's coming in from Casper, as well as Billings, so some good growth here. So yeah, this one shouldn't be a problem. So that's the wheat line set up for Denver. Let's have just one train for now,
Big boys? So what now?
which I can't afford after the auction, but that's fine. Now we can.
You should look for your train.
Next I want the parallel track setting up for this city run. So many breakdowns. Once we've got a decent network set up, start connecting some of the rural industries. In fact, I may have to do that once this is linked up, because actually we've got to the end of next year to hit 1,000 freight cars. We're not going to do that with no rural businesses set up. Well, we might, but it'll be difficult. So that's that. So let's go ahead and clone him. And then get the counterpart set up.
You should look for your train.
Come on. Making money very slowly here. And that's without the, costs of maintenance sheds. Okay, there we go. Now let's start getting some of these businesses running. So I think a normal, no, will have to be enlarged to link both up. So first of all, instead I'll get these logs and I'll bring these into Rock Springs. So I'll just use this pre-existing track for the time being. There we go. And I'll just have one locomotive for now. Now you could do with cattle, so let's go ahead and link to this business.
You should look for your train.
We have a spare platform from our opening station, so that's good. It's 56,000 for the track. So nearly 20% of the way there. We've got just over a year and a half to finish it. We will have several trains doing this one, I think. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to end this episode here at this point, so I'll just pause it. And we'll pick it up in part 2. I think we've made an okay start. This is the very first time I've tried this one, so I can't really say for certain. I am mindful of the freight we need to start shipping in quickly. But I think, touch wood, it should be okay. Obviously, we'll find out in part 2, I imagine, so I'll see you for that, guys. See you in part 2.